The film begins with Detective Benoit Blanc arriving in a small, picturesque European village that has been shaken by the sudden death of a beloved priest, Father Callum. The town is deeply religious, and the priest was a guiding light for the community. At first, his death appears to be natural, an old man succumbing to the weight of years. But whispers among the villagers hint at foul play, and Blanc is quietly invited to investigate under the radar. Blanc senses immediately that something is wrong. The church where Father Callum was found holds strange inconsistencies. The time of death does not match the alibis of key villagers who claim to be with him. A golden chalice, a prized heirloom of the church, has mysteriously vanished. To Blanc, these are not accidents but threads of a deeper mystery waiting to be untangled. He starts with the wealthy Van Houghton family, the aristocrats who have funded the church for generations. They are respected in public but despised in private. The stern matriarch, Lady Eleanor, speaks with reverence about Father Callum, yet her children seem detached. The eldest son, Victor, is arrogant and controlling, while his younger sister, Marianne, appears genuinely shaken but strangely evasive. During a tense dinner at the Van Houghton estate, Blanc observes their interactions. Victor dominates conversation and belittles his sister, while Lady Eleanor desperately tries to keep up appearances. Blanc notices Marianne flinch at certain questions about her whereabouts the night of the priest's death. Something about her grief feels mixed with guilt, and Blanc files it away for later. Meanwhile, Blanc meets Thomas, a young gravedigger who seems more observant than most give him credit for. Thomas hints that Father Callum knew secrets about the Van Houghton family, secrets dangerous enough to make him a target. He also admits that he saw someone leaving the church late at night, though he can't identify who. Blanc encourages him to speak carefully, sensing the boy is afraid of retaliation. As Blanc widens his scope, he encounters townsfolk who had complicated relationships with Father Callum. A widow claims he knew of financial corruption tied to the Van Houghtons. The local baker swears she saw him arguing with Victor days before his death. Each testimony deepens the suspicion that this was no peaceful passing but a deliberate act cloaked in silence. A breakthrough comes when the missing golden chalice is discovered in the river that runs through town. It's dented with traces of blood. This revelation shocks the community, as it not only proves murder but also sacrilege. Blanc realizes that whoever killed Father Callum tried to disguise the weapon and eliminate the sacred object tied to the crime. The act was personal, filled with anger. Tension in the village grows as rumors spread. Lady Eleanor tries to control the narrative, blaming outsiders for stirring unrest. Victor grows increasingly hostile toward Blanc, accusing him of dragging their family name through the mud. Marianne withdraws further, as if terrified of something or someone. The atmosphere is thick with distrust, and every look exchanged between villagers feels heavy with implication. Blanc then receives an anonymous note slipped under his door. It reads only, "Wake up the dead man, and you'll know the truth." The cryptic message intrigues him. He interprets it as a clue suggesting that Father Callum left behind evidence pointing to his killer, something buried or hidden. With this, Blanc focuses on the priest's chambers, meticulously searching for overlooked details. Inside the priest's private study, Blanc discovers coded journal entries. They reveal that Father Callum suspected someone of blackmailing him with information that could devastate the Van Houghtons. His final note, half-finished, reads, "Victor cannot," but ends abruptly, as if interrupted. Blanc suspects the priest was silenced before he could finish the damning entry. When Blanc confronts Victor, the man explodes in anger, claiming the priest was meddling in matters he didn't understand. But Victor's outrage feels rehearsed, as if he's trying too hard to appear offended. Blanc senses that while Victor may be involved, the real killer might be someone else entirely, hiding behind his aggression. He refuses to let the easy suspect distract him from the truth. Blanc turns again to Marianne, whose guilt-ridden demeanor has been gnawing at him. In a private conversation, she breaks down and admits she had met Father Callum the night he died. She begged him for advice because she wanted to expose Victor's illegal dealings, but the priest urged her to stay quiet for her own safety. She insists she left him alive, terrified but unharmed. The story takes another turn when Thomas, the gravedigger, goes missing. Blanc fears that someone silenced him for knowing too much. Searching the cemetery, Blanc finds Thomas wounded but alive, hiding in the crypts. The boy admits he saw Marianne leaving the church, but also saw another shadow enter soon after, Lady Eleanor. This revelation shifts the spotlight dramatically. Lady Eleanor's polished facade begins to crack. Blanc digs deeper into her past and uncovers that she had been secretly siphoning church funds through the Van Houghton estate. Father Callum discovered the fraud and threatened to reveal her, which would destroy her reputation and the family's standing. Desperate to maintain control, she confronted him. In a chilling reconstruction, Blanc explains how Lady Eleanor struck Father Callum with the chalice in a fit of rage. The killing was unplanned, but once it was done, she covered it up with cold precision. She planted suspicion on Victor, knowing his temper and arrogance would make him the perfect scapegoat. The missing chalice, however, betrayed her attempt at control. The villagers, horrified by the truth, turn on Lady Eleanor. Victor is stunned, realizing his mother was willing to sacrifice him to save herself. Marianne, though devastated, finds a strange relief in the truth being exposed. Blanc, as always, delivers the revelation calmly, laying out the tangled web of lies until there's no room for denial. Lady Eleanor is taken away, her once unshakable dignity shattered. The town, though broken, begins to heal in the aftermath of the scandal. Father Callum's memory is honored, his sacrifice finally understood. Marianne vows to take over the estate and use its wealth for good, breaking the cycle of corruption that had plagued her family for years. Blanc quietly prepares to leave, reflecting on the case. He understands that beneath every polished exterior lies a darker truth, and that justice is rarely clean. As he departs, the villagers thank him, though he knows the scars of this crime will linger. His work, however, is done. The final scene shows Blanc on a train, reading Father Callum's unfinished journal entry once more. He closes it gently, murmuring to himself that sometimes the dead must indeed wake up to speak the truth. With a sigh, he gazes out at the rolling countryside, already sensing that another mystery is waiting just ahead. But as the train moves, Blanc notices a stranger watching him from across the carriage, a man with a sharp suit and an unreadable smile. The gaze lingers too long, unsettling even Blanc. He wonders if this new figure is a coincidence or the start of another puzzle unraveling before him. The stranger subtly leaves behind a folded piece of paper as he exits at the next station. Blanc picks it up and reads a single line: "Not all secrets were buried with Eleanor." His curiosity is immediately piqued, and he knows the shadows of the case may not be fully behind him after all. The camera pans out as Blanc leans back in his seat, a faint smirk tugging at his lips. He mutters, "Well, Lord, it seems I'm not done just yet." The screen fades to black, teasing audiences with the promise that Benoit Blanc's next mystery has already begun. As the credits begin to roll, a brief post-credit scene reveals Thomas at the cemetery, discovering a second hidden journal in Father Callum's tomb. He opens it in shock, eyes widening as he whispers, "This changes everything." The screen cuts abruptly, leaving the audience with a final chilling hook. In the last flicker of imagery, the camera lingers on the journal resting atop Father Callum's gravestone, marked with a cryptic symbol that no one had noticed before. It is not only a sign of secrets still buried, but also a promise that the priest's death may have been just one piece of a much larger conspiracy.